Hello, welcome to Microsoft Azure training series powered by ATCSL. My name is Neeraj. I am an enterprise architect, Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator Associate, and I will be your instructor for this course. Welcome to Microsoft Azure Certifications. Today, we are going to understand about the new Azure Certification Paths which has been released by Microsoft recently. We are going to see the new role-based certifications, and we are going to see the three different parts of the certification for Azure, but we will focus specifically on the Azure Administrator Associate today. Now, this is the part 1 of the series, where we will understand the specific topics that is covered under the certification, and how this examination has been divided into two different sections. One is AZ100, which is Azure Infrastructure and Deployment, and the other one is AZ101, which is Microsoft Azure Integration and Security. And you get the Azure Administrator Associate badge only after completing these two examinations. Let's dive deep and understand how this certification works now. Microsoft released the three new role-based certifications before their Ignite session in September 2018. These certifications were released as a replacement of the three old certifications from Azure, which are 7532, 7533, and 7535. So 7532 was for the Azure Certified Developer, whereas 7533 was for the Azure Administrator, and 7535 was for Azure Solutions Architect. And each of these new certifications were divided into two sections. And as I already told you, you get the certificate only after completing the two certifications. So if we talk about Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator Associate, we now have AZ100 and AZ101. There is now a slight deviation for Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate, because earlier we had the two new certifications, AZ201 and AZ202, but now in 2019 we see that the Microsoft Azure Developer Advanced Solution, which was AZ201, has also been retired. So now we are left with AZ202, which is the transition examination for which I will be covering later. But before that, we talk about AZ203, which is the new certification for Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate. For Microsoft Certified Azure Solutions Architect, we have AZ300 and AZ301. Now, there are obviously questions regarding the old certificates, or for the people who already have the older certifications. For them, there are transition examination or transition certification. For Microsoft Azure Administrator Associate, we have AZ102, whereas for the Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate, we have AZ202 as a transition examination. For Microsoft Certified Azure Solutions Architect, we have AZ302 as a transition certification. And these certifications are a must to continue their old certificates for the people who have completed the previous versions of the certifications. Although we will be focusing more on the Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator Associate certification in this session, but let me give you a brief overview of the Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate and Microsoft Certified Azure Solutions Architect certifications as well. So we already know that for getting the Azure Administrator Associate certification, we need to complete the two certifications, which are AZ100 and AZ101. For others who already have cleared and got the 7533 certification For them, there also is a certification, which is a transition certification, and that is AZ-102. And this needs, people who have already passed 7533 need to get this certification as well to continue with the certification. For Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate, there were earlier two new certifications released, as I already told you. But now there are only two different certifications. One is for the transition, for people who have already cleared 7532, and for people who did not pass or have not given or cleared the certification 7532 need to give the AZ-203 to become the Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate. Similarly, for Microsoft Certified Azure Solutions Architect, we have a combination of two examinations, which are AZ-300 Microsoft Azure Architect Technologies and AZ-301, which is Microsoft Azure Architect Design. For everyone else who have already cleared 7535, they need to give the AZ-302 as a transition examination and continue with their certification. We will now try to understand more about Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator Associate certification. We will start with AZ-102, which is the transition certification for Microsoft Azure Administrator, and is for people who have already cleared the 7533 examination. So there are 4 sections to complete. One is the Manage Azure Subscriptions and Resources, which will cover more or less about configuring diagnostic settings on the resources or creating the baseline for the resources and creating alerts and analyze those alerts across the subscription, and how to create the action groups, monitor for unused resources, how to manage cost and spend, and so on and so forth. For the second part of the certification, this consists of Implement and Manage Storage, and this will be for creating Azure File Share or create Azure File Sync services, create Azure Sync groups, and troubleshooting those sync groups. The third part is the Manage Identities, which is about like the adding custom domains, configure the Azure Active Directory Identity Protection or Azure AD Join and Enterprise State Roaming, configure the self-service password reset or implement conditional access policies, manage multiple directories, and so on and so forth. The fourth and the final part of the AZ-102 certification is Configure and Manage Virtual Networks, which will include configuring of the VNet peering, like VNet to VNet, or you say verify the virtual network connectivity, create a virtual network gateway for point-to-site or site-to-site connectivity. So that is all about AZ-102 certification. If a person has not cleared 7533 or has not appeared for 7533 and cleared it, then that person has to give 2 certifications, which are AZ-100 and AZ-101. So the first is AZ-100, which is Manage Azure Subscription and Resources, Implement and Manage Storage, Deploy and Manage Virtual Machines, Configure and Manage Virtual Networks, and Manage Identities. So like I told you about 102, about Manage Azure Subscription and Resources, more or less the similar things are also in this, but from a wider perspective, because here we are talking about the different resources, monitoring them, and in the Implement and Manage Storage, we talk about the different storage options that we have, and including the blob, the file, the table, and the queue storage, and how we can utilize those storage to the best possible way, in the best possible way. In the deploy and manage virtual machines, we will look into how these virtual machines are configured, how the resources are allocated, how the permissions are given, and also about the relationship or the communication between two different machines in the same and different subnet of the same virtual network. In the configure and manage virtual network, we need to understand about the network security groups, the subnets or the NICs and the IP addresses, along with the details that I shared with AZ102, which is like configuring site-to-site connectivity or point-to-site connectivity using the VPN gateway or the express route, VNet to VNet peering. For manage identities, it is all about configuring the domain name services or the domain name, and bringing on the identities or creating identities for users to be able to use the Azure portal and use their resources which they are allocated to. The AZ101, which is Microsoft Azure Integration and Security, deals in the evaluation and perform server migrations to Azure. So this will include scenarios where you want to migrate your on-prem physical or virtual machines to Azure, which will be using the Azure Site Recovery or using the Azure Migrations tool. Then we have the implement and manage application services. Know more about the app services plan, the app services environment version 1 and version 2, and the details about the app services and how they work and how the web applications or the logic apps or the function apps work and how best they can be utilized. In the implement advanced virtual networking, it is an add-on to the configure and manage virtual network that we have already covered in AZ100. And then the final section is the securing of identities. In AZ100, we dealt with managing identities, whereas in AZ101, we will be dealing with securing the identities, setting up the multi-factor authentication, and how well, depending on the usage, depending on the requirements, how can we secure the identities. I hope I was able to explain you well on the new certification paths from Azure, and hope this will be helpful to you and you will soon be giving your Azure certification for Azure Administrator Associate. Thank you so much for being with me. Keep Azuring.